our Turning Point USA family, but I want you guys all to see the Medal of Freedom and be able to look at it in the back of it. You guys are all part of the legacy. So and then on the back, it's the first and last time they'll put a cross on it. But yeah, you guys see. I literally will stand here so all of you guys. Like I'm not, I don't care. Everyone can have their moment and see.
Watch this. Here's Erica Kirk. Just days after her husband died in a very public incident, she shows up smiling and flashing his Medal of Freedom like she's just been honored at some glamorous ceremony. Millions of people have watched this clip, and they're all asking the exact same thing. Is something off here? Even professional body language analysts have studied the footage, and what they're saying is honestly disturbing. And here's what everybody wants to know. Is this really how a wife behaves just days after her husband's death? Or is there something deeper, colder hiding behind that smile? Stay, because what you're about to see might make you question everything you thought you understood. All right, let's get into it. If you've been following the situation, you already know that Charlie Kirk passed away suddenly during a public appearance. A major voice in conservative circles. The founder of Turning Point USA, who argued, spoke, energized young people on college campuses across the United States. Whether you liked him or couldn't stand him, you cannot pretend he wasn't influential. But here's where everything starts getting strange. Really strange, because his widow, Erica Kirk, went on camera just days after everything happened. And listen, I'm not here to tell anyone how to mourn. Everyone processes loss differently. But when you watch these videos, something in your gut starts screaming that it's not normal. And I'm definitely not the only one thinking it. Even Joe Rogan, who's known for calling out what nobody else wants to say, started discussing the situation on his podcast. He went through the entire thing, from what supposedly happened that day to all the confusing details, and ended with one line: none of this really adds up. But what exploded online the most was when body language experts began breaking down Erica Kirk's every movement, every glance, frame by frame, gesture by gesture. And what those experts found was genuinely unsettling. In today's video, we're going to pull apart every angle. Joe Rogan's questions about how the whole situation was handled, a close examination of Erica Kirk's body language, and heated comparisons to how other widows have shown grief in public. And that's not everything. We'll explain why people online have already started calling her a brutal nickname, the Happy Widow. Believe me, you're going to want to stay through the end. But before we pull apart Erica's behavior, we have to actually understand what happened to Charlie Kirk. Because the deeper you look, the stranger becomes. Charlie Kirk appeared at a Turning Point USA event as the founder and driving force of the organization, a young, influential figure watched by millions, and then suddenly vanished from public view. That's where Joe Rogan entered. His breakdown of the situation is worth paying attention to. He didn't stick to soft questions. He drilled down, challenged the details, and highlighted all the things that didn't line up with the official version.
I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that.
And a guy wrote, this guy got what he deserved. No, he didn't. He had open debates. That takes courage. So if you didn't agree with him, you could come and speak. What's wrong with you?
According to Joe Rogan, there was an older man spotted at the scene on the day of the tragedy, acting so bizarrely that he instantly drew everyone's attention. The twist? This same man, some sources claim, has been seen at several other high-profile events before, and even connected to earlier public disturbances. He was detained right after the incident for inappropriate behavior, which, as Joe emphasizes, conveniently made it impossible for anyone to question him later. Rogan says it flat out. The odds of the exact same person appearing at all these different events are basically zero. And he's right. If you actually ran the math, the probability would be insane. But just when you think it can't get any stranger, the official report makes it worse. It claims the suspect was a 21-year-old man, and here's the kicker. The weapon he supposedly used was a World War I era antique with no serial number, allegedly taken apart, carried in pieces, and reassembled
This
within
kid
minutes.
who's not military trained. This guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane. So he's on the roof. He shoots. He jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Yeah, we saw didn't they have video of him jump? Somebody had a cell phone video of him jumping.
There's
down,
a video
right?
of him jumping. So this guy, whoever it is, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy. Maybe he did it.
I feel like he's a plant. Did you see the video? Did you see the person doing the investigating on his mom's Facebook?
No.
You haven't seen this? Have you seen that, Jamie? Some dude online.
His mom's got a weird Facebook.
Joe Rogan asked the question nobody in charge seems eager to answer. How did that young guy even get onto the rooftop to begin with? No serious security, no surveillance, no drones, a clean line of sight to a packed crowd, and apparently not a single person noticed. His take is simple. This story doesn't add up. None of the pieces actually lock together. And honestly, once you hear him walk through the timeline, you start realizing the official version feels broken on a fundamental level. Joe Rogan goes further. He says if someone wants the public to give up on ever getting a real answer, all they have to do is pump out a mess of clashing details. You just sprinkle in a few inconsistencies. A witness who behaves strangely, a mystery figure who pops in and vanishes, and a chain of details so theatrical it almost feels rehearsed. That, he says, is how you manufacture intentional chaos. But while everybody online keeps arguing about theories and timelines and motives, attention shifts to someone else entirely. Erica Kirk, the freshly widowed wife. Picture it. Your partner has just died in a public tragedy, in front of hundreds of witnesses. It's only been a few days. Most people will be shaking, numb, unable to sleep, barely able to form words. But for Erica Kirk, it's a totally different story. Just days after Charlie Kirk passed, she's standing in front of cameras at Turning Point USA headquarters. And you need to study this clip, because this is where the outrage actually starts. Look at her expression. Erica is smiling. Erica is smiling. This is not some tiny, polite, or forced smile. It's a wide, bright, genuinely natural smile. She's lifting Charlie Kirk's Medal of Freedom, holding it up to staff, telling them they're all part of his legacy. She's talking with energy, eyes lit, almost joyful. And yes, every person processes trauma in their own way. Maybe she's trying to look unbreakable, or maybe she's still running on shock. But when you compare that reaction to how most people behave right after a devastating loss, the contrast is intense. One comment under that clip went viral with a single brutal line. Everyone grieves differently, but nobody grieves like her. And honestly, that pretty much captured what thousands of viewers were already thinking. But here's the twist. That was not the only moment. There were more clips. And when you start putting them together, the picture that forms raises even more questions. Another video surfaced later. In that one, Erica Kirk looks teary as she pulls up to an event in her own car. At first glance, it almost felt heartbreaking, a woman wrecked by loss. Then the internet did what the internet always does and started freezing frames. Look at the expressions. Look at the timing. Is this raw grief? Or is this someone performing grief? Within minutes, comments exploded across social platforms. People wrote things like bad acting and crying on cue. Some even compared her to actresses in movies who have to fake cry on set. And from there, the argument around Erica Kirk, the smile, the tears, the calm delivery, was only getting started. And listen, I'm not here trying to be cruel. None of us get to define what the correct version of grief is for somebody else. We cannot climb inside her. But watching that video, you can't shake the feeling that something's just off. It's not any one gesture or phrase. It's the entire atmosphere around her. There's a subtle tension in the air, a strange energy that makes you stop mid-scroll and whisper, "Wait, what exactly am I seeing? No one can quite name it, but your gut, that quiet, wordless instinct, keeps repeating, something's wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we all are. Maybe this is simply Erica's unique way of handling loss, one unlike anything we've seen before. Because yes, grief wears many faces. Some people collapse. Some go silent. Some force a smile just to stop themselves from breaking. Maybe that's all she's doing, holding herself together under the weight of 1,000 cameras pointing her way. But to really understand, we need perspective. Not to judge, but to compare. To feel the emotional distance between genuine composure and chilling detachment. Remember when Kobe Bryant died? The entire world froze. But the deepest pain wasn't in the headlines or memorials. It was in Vanessa Bryant's face. The woman who lost not only her husband, but her daughter in the same instant. That kind of pain can't be described, only felt. She vanished from the spotlight for weeks. No posts, no statements, nothing. And when she finally reappeared, her eyes said everything. The emptiness, the weight, the kind of sorrow no one could ever fake. On one side is Vanessa Bryant, barely keeping herself together, almost shaking apart, her hands trembling, her voice breaking, her eyes flooded. An image so raw, so painfully human that anyone watching felt themselves tearing up with her. On the other side is Erica Kirk standing right in front of the camera, smiling, speaking about legacy, about bright days ahead, about how we are blessed with new opportunities. Every line, every word sounded less like someone who just lost a partner and more like a boss announcing the next chapter. And that contrast between a woman crushed by grief and another glowing with calm, almost serene light left people unable to stop demanding answers. Not because anyone wanted to attack her, but because human instinct honestly didn't know where to file that feeling. Was it strength or emotional distance? Was it iconic resilience or a signal of something deeper, something harder to explain? To be honest, however you see it, the split between Vanessa Bryant and Erica Kirk remains one of the internet's most fiercely debated visuals in recent memory. Because this isn't just a story about two women. It's also a question about sincerity, pain, and the way grief gets performed for cameras now, in real time. And this is when the internet started handing Erica Kirk a new nickname, the Happy Widow. I get it sounds harsh, really harsh. But once you line up all those clips, watch them side by side, you understand exactly why that label exploded. Not because the crowd wanted to tear her down, but because the way she showed emotion felt unsettling to almost everyone. Everyone agrees on one thing. Grief has no playbook, no neat little rule book, no how to mourn manual. People break down in their own ways. Some cry in silence, others bury themselves in work or prayer. But there's a difference between grieving differently and not grieving at all. And that, dear viewers, is why Erica Kirk has the internet spiraling. She isn't just holding it together, she's glowing, smiling, energized, like she's launching a new chapter instead of rising from the ashes of heartbreak. She talks about blessings, fresh beginnings, and carrying on a legacy with not a single crack in her voice. Her tone? Not tearful, not shaky, almost thrilled. And that's what's freaking everyone out. After Charlie Kirk's death, someone had to step up and run Turning Point USA, the empire he built from scratch. Naturally, the torch landed in Erica's hands. On paper, a logical choice. Emotionally, a minefield. Taking over your late spouse's life's work isn't just management. It's identity, spirit, image, memory. Most widows would move with quiet grace or hesitation. Erica? She came out swinging with pep. Rewatch that speech. She wasn't mourning. She was motivational. She literally said, "I'm excited. It's weird to say I'm excited, but I am." And yes, it was weird, because this wasn't a corporate kickoff. It was her husband's memorial. Yet there she was, talking about wonderful projects and amazing things ahead, her every smile radiating confusing positivity. The internet went into detective mode. TikTok sleuths, YouTube breakdowns, freeze frames galore, analyzing tone, pace, micro-expressions. Some pointed out her eyes sparkled at the mention of new ventures, but stayed flat when referencing Charlie's death. One viral comment nailed the mood. "She doesn't sound like a grieving widow. She sounds like someone who just got promoted." And then came the real internet explosion. Not just a few snarky remarks. Hundreds of identical comments flooded in. The word promotion turned into a full-blown meme. People remixed Erica Kirk's clips with pop songs, added confetti edits, and joked that she wasn't mourning a husband. She was celebrating a career upgrade. But hold that sarcasm for a second, because what came next made everything look tame. Erica didn't just announce she was taking over Turning Point USA. She unveiled a plan to keep Charlie Kirk's voice alive. Sounds touching, right? A widow honoring her late husband's legacy? Except it wasn't that simple. In another viral clip, Erica calmly explained she'll keep using Charlie's social media accounts, posting his messages, his ideals, his voice. To some, it felt poetic. To others, downright eerie. Soon, social media split into two warring camps. Camp 1, she's doing it out of love, out of loyalty. Camp 2, this is creepy like digital puppetry. Critics called it desensitization, accusing her of blurring the line between remembrance and rebranding. Was Erica preserving Charlie's legacy, or rewriting it in her own favor? Doubt began to swirl, and when the internet doubts, it investigates. Enter Dr. G, a renowned body language expert armed with slow-motion footage and a magnified eye for micro-expressions. She analyzed every glance, every twitch, every carefully practiced smile of Erica Kirk. And what she found was stunning. Erica's expressions weren't forced. They showed the Duchenne smile a sign of genuine joy, the kind that doesn't fake grief. It replaces it. It wasn't just her lips curling up. It was the eyes, those tiny muscles crinkling in a way that science calls unfakeable. And guess when Erica Kirk flashed that genuine, eye-smiling expression? Right as she spoke about taking over Charlie Kirk's dream job. Translation: she wasn't pretending. According to Dr. G, that was authentic emotion, real positivity, maybe even excitement, just days after her husband's death. Not exactly the portrait of grief the public expected. But Dr. G's breakdown didn't end there. As Erica shifted from eulogizing to strategizing, talking programs, plans, and big things to come, her entire energy flipped. Her eyes narrowed, her posture straightened, her tone went from soft to steel. It wasn't mourning anymore, it was leadership mode. The doctor called it pure commitment. No script, no sympathy act. Just someone stepping into power like she'd always belonged there, which let everyone ask the question echoing across TikTok. Was his pain reborn as ambition, or ambition dressed up as pain? Then came the analysis that broke the internet. A sharp-eyed TikTok user uploaded a viral deep dive, calling Erica's behavior unsettling. The footage? Jaw-dropping. Erica walking onto Memorial Stage, not somber but cinematic. Fireworks blazing, dramatic music swelling. Was this a tribute or a media event? Maybe the organizers went overboard, maybe not. But the next detail sent chills through the comment section. The user replayed Erica's crying moments in slow motion, and there it was. Or rather, wasn't. No tears, no mascara streaks. Just perfect makeup and flawless skin. Her face contorted, her voice cracked, but her eyes stayed dry. The creator dubbed it the crying performance, a meticulously crafted display of emotion. Not sadness lived, sadness staged. What really blew minds wasn't just Erica Kirk's lack of tears. It was the timing. Every movement synced flawlessly with the background music. When the soundtrack swelled, she covered her face. When it softened, she lifted her chin, eyes distant, dramatic. It wasn't mourning. It was choreography. A perfectly timed emotional performance. To be fair, maybe Erica had cried earlier. Maybe she drained every tear before stepping on stage. Trauma can dry a person out. But when you stack that theory against everything else, the radiant smiles, the I'm excited speech, the glowing energy, the ambitious talk of the future, it starts painting one eerie picture. One viewer summed it up bluntly. This isn't grief, this is theater. And thousands agreed. To them, Erica didn't look broken. She looked in control. The gestures, the pauses, the angles, it all screamed awareness of the camera. And once you see that, it's impossible to unsee. You stop watching a widow and start watching production. A scene crafted for optics, not emotion. Now, step back. because here's where it gets darker. We had expert analysis, widow comparisons, frame-by-frame breakdowns. But then the story loops back to Joe Rogan. While the internet argues over Erica's dry cry and dazzling smile, Rogan digs deeper. He's not just saying, Erica's acting strange. He's implying the whole thing, from the tone to the timing, feels off. According to him, Erica's odd performance might not be the real mystery. It might be a distraction. Because when powerful people don't want the public asking hard questions, they don't bury the truth. They bury it under confusion. Contradictory stories, conflicting clues, mismatched leaks, just enough noise to keep everyone chasing shadows. They don't hide the truth. They smother it in noise. They roll out strange side characters, twist timelines, and spin such tangled plots that no one can tell what's real anymore. As Joe Rogan puts it, that's the trick. A suspect behaving oddly in the wrong place, a witness saying nonsense, evidence that keeps changing shape with every new report. It's not confusion by accident. It's confusion by design. A fog. So thick you stop trying to see through it. And standing right in the eye of that fog, Erica Kirk. Not a shattered widow, but a composed, camera-ready powerhouse. Grinning like she just got promoted, not widowed. That's what makes Rogan's question sting. Is this chaos coincidence or part of script? Because in the middle of a storm that's breaking everyone else, Erica looks strangely calm, radiant, confident, and ready to rule. So what's the truth here? Is Erica simply grieving differently, or frozen in shock, not yet touching the depth of her loss? Or is she performing, projecting strength while her real pain hides behind the lens? Some think she's just drunk on newfound authority. Others, following Rogan's lead, whisper that she's part of something much bigger, and maybe doesn't even realize it. No one can say for sure, and that uncertainty is what makes this story haunting. When people lose someone, their pain usually speaks for itself. You see it in the eyes, the stillness, the silence. But Erica Kirk? She smiles. She glows. She plans for tomorrow. And the audience can only stare, wondering, is she mourning or managing? Because this stopped being a simple story of loss a long time ago. It's a mirror held up to us all, testing how we read emotion in an age ruled by cameras. When pain becomes performance, grief turns into content. Thank you for watching, and remember, don't swallow the headline. Don't trust the edit. Watch, question, dissect. Because in a world lit by 1,000 screens, the truth doesn't disappear. It just hides in the brightest spot of the frame.